But for me, it's the first time we're going to see it. Shifters had Rider first selection, and they chose second pick. MKOI chose red. So they're going to ban away the Wukong and the K'Sante to kick us off. Yanara immediately removed by Shifters.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. The Poppy interest as well, because especially it is an answer into things like the Wukong and that, but we'll have to see what the game plan is to continue on. Malphite, we just had that lovely breakdown from Jack. Maybe, yeah, it's going to be the ban here. And now it's going to be Shifters looking to see what that final ban is going to be.
You could look towards something like the Jace if you wanted. You could also pinch out that mid pool a little bit. Azir, Ryze, Taliyah are all up there, so if you pinch one, the other two are still available. I think the Poppy ban can signal towards a Rakan pick for Trymbi, something that he's really comfortable on, and Poppy really negates your ability to do much on that champ.
Yeah.
There's the Jace ban. Is it going to be a Gwen first pick, or is Myrwn
I'd be
just...
very surprised. I think it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's imagined probably either the Azir or the Ryze, right? Yeah. And Jojo looked very good on the Azir yesterday, able to get a nice little bit of an advantage for himself in the lane matchup. So we'll have to see if that's going to be, yep, there we go. Similar story here today.
Yeah, no real shocks. No real shocks in the first pick of this draft so far. No real shocks as Jojo picks up his Azir, and we'll see if Shifters answer with that Ryze, or whether Nuke goes towards the Taliyah. Can leave it for B3, third pick on second pick side, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's the option to go for it, especially with the Vi left open here as well, where you can try and go Vi into Taliyah if you'd like to. And I mean, the Vi hovered may be the selection, and it does set you up very nicely for that strong mid combo. It just does leave you a little vulnerable, where if you're able to get Elyoya onto something that can match some of that pressure in the mid lane, an early flash blown could mean a very difficult time for Nuke in the mid lane.
It really could. Varus, though, still one of the main AD carries that we're looking at. Just outranges so many other picks. And that's the problem with it in terms of how ubiquitous it is in draft. Even when it's slightly undertuned, slightly underpowered, which it's not at the moment, still really strong. You just have so much range and the ability to go through so many different build paths that he works incredibly well. And the CC chaining with a Vi as well, with the Chain of Corruption on top of a cease and desist.
It's also like a lot of the times you do have strong picks that work well in side lanes, like, you know, the Ryze or these level 20 side laners that are doing work. So the ability to just clear out mid waves and then suddenly shift both jungle and support topside handily is very, very nice. So I think there's just so many reasons why, unfortunately, Varus with his poke build will continue to stick around for what seems like aeons.
Yeah. Sivir being used to answer it, the Ricochet clearing out those waves relatively quickly alongside a Boomerang Blade, and you have that spell shield in case Chain of Corruption does come down, or in case you want to avoid some of the piercing arrow poke. Shifters here likely to look towards their mid laner with an Ambessa and a Sivir locked in. We saw Jojo going through a couple of the options. It's like, oh, you could pick the Ryze here, you could pick a Kali here if you really wanted to, but I doubt that's going to be the case. Nuke most likely going towards the Ryze, but it actually looks like Shifters have decided to pick up the Neeko. Now, Neeko support is where we expect this to be. Can still be flex mid, can even be flex jungle at the moment, but it won't be obviously in this game with the Vi locked in.
Yeah, I think it'd just be to try and get that push on bot side and guaranteed, and then follow up for that main AoE CC and team fights, because looking across at MKOI, their late game team fighting is terrifying.
Yeah.
I imagine this Ambessa is going to go jungle. Myrwn has been opting in towards the K'Sante and Sion thus far this weekend, and if the Sion isn't banned away here, I think putting that top side for Myrwn is actually going to work out fantastically and just solidifying that strong front line to enable these two late game carries.
It looks like Shifters might be leaving that top lane counter for last with their AD carry support and jungle locked in. Bard banned away, there's the Taliyah removed. MKOI could get rid of the Ryze here as well to really put Nuke down one peg on that tier list. But at the moment, they're only opting for the Taliyah. Shifters having a little bit of a debate as to what their final ban is. Could look to get rid of another support. I think the Bard is a good one with the Tempered Fate negating some of the Pop Blossom value.
Yeah, Alistair could also be the other one, because oftentimes you see the headbutt away from Neeko as she's trying to set up for those ultimates.
I like it. I do actually think MKOI really should go for the Ryze ban because of the Realm Warp Pop Blossom combination as well.
Yeah.
I think a Ryze ban there would be great. Jarvan taken out. Could lock the Neeko into a bit of a cage so she can't get onto the backline. And it's actually Renekton removed by MKOI. So Ryze kind of the preeminent pick here for Shifters if they want it.
It also maybe means that this Ambessa is going to that top lane. Because oftentimes it's the Renekton that is a good answer, and especially as we've seen, you don't have to take the teleport on the Renekton. You can opt in towards Ghost, you can opt in towards Ignite. It's kind of helping to solve a lot of his problems later on in the game. So we'll have to see what the plan is going to be, but Orianna all in on this kind of wombo combo, it feels like, from Shifters.
Oh, okay, it's going to get swapped to a Cassio at the last minute there. It can be flexed to top for Rooster. I'll have a quick look to see if he played any mages top lane last year. I don't think it is something that we really saw too much from him. Cassio did have some bugs in solo queue. You could get a lot of movement speed and one-shot a Baron. Thankfully, you can't do that here in professional play. If we see any Mercurial Scimitar TP shenanigans...
Yeah, maybe a pause incoming.
Yeah, very rapidly, I think.
And the Cassiopeia, I'm surprised at, though, because in my head, Cassiopeia, relatively short range compared to the Azir, so Azir kind of just gets to farm up and then outrange you in team fights, which isn't really where Cassiopeia wants to be. I suppose you do have, at least now, the Rumble, Ambessa, and the Sivir, who you should be in contact range with, so maybe you can try and make those plays work, but I still like kind of what both sides are bringing to the table. Like, it feels very much like we are going to fist fight, we're going to come to these objectives with a lot of aggression, and it'll be a case of who can kind of take over in the early game and get control around those that are going to make the difference.
Nautilus and Rumble, the final two picks for MKOI. Totally agree with you. I think there might be a slight bit more early game power for Shifters if they can play through their bot side. Varus, Neeko, I take over Sivir, Nautilus if you can catch them out, but in the mid lane, it is going to be that Cassio. Aurora locked as well. I was looking at it. Rooster has 4 games on the champ, 3 and 4. It's a heavy AP topside with the Vi there to apply some of that physical damage.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because I do agree. I think for Shifters, playing through that bottom side is going to be your best bet. The Aurora should be fine to just win out in the matchup by herself, and as long as you can facilitate kind of your mid and bot lane, I think you're in a decent spot. But for MKOI, you have strong lanes, at least through the Azir, that you can try and play through. And also, I think Jojo kind of getting a little bit of a buff as well. The fact that we have less roams happening from the supports means that Jojo kind of gets to isolate himself and play through what has been his strength, which is that very strong laning phase.
Yeah, his laning's been really good over the last couple of days, and you know, in 2025 as well. One of the best laning mid laners in Europe last year. This year, definitely making a name for himself as the best, in my opinion, so far. Have that Cassio for Nuke as well in the mid lane. Something we don't see too often. Does do that grounded effect, which can stop the Azir from using his shifting sands because he can't dodge away from it. Can also stop the Ambessa from jumping around too much. As we jump on into the game, and it looks like we have a small pause to kick us off. So sorry guys, gonna have to wait another couple of moments. But obviously we'll work out exactly what's happening.
Yeah, also
possible.
Nuke opting in towards the Ghost instead of the TP, so definitely going to be very, very quick in these fights, which I do like. Yeah. Especially when you're up against things like, you know, the Rumble and the Ambessa, being able to reposition, but also for the chase down onto guys like Jojo who do outrange you a little bit. So,
have to remember the Cassio passive changes as well. No more are the memes of Cassio no boots. You cannot type that in Twitch chat, or you can right now because he bought a Doran's Ring to start. But now, instead of not being able to buy boots, Cassio's passive is an increase to all movement speed effects, scaling up with level. Actually goes up to 44% at level 18. So you can be pretty rapid as you slither around. But have to see what that ghost means for Nuke, as you say, does give him a little bit more teamfight prowess and a good petrifying gaze with relatively short range on the side of MKOI could spell disaster.
Yeah, I think you really need to be on point as Nuke with that petrifying gaze, because again, like Elyoya and Alvaro, it's the point and click from Alvaro into the follow from Elyoya, and there's a relatively high chance that if that is onto Nuke, that he may not get to play the game before he gets to play that petrifying gaze. So yeah, it's just waiting to see, because MKOI, I think they're scaling from both the AP carry in the mid lane and that AD carry are very, very strong, and if they can find ways to successfully get them into the lead, I think it's going to be hard for Shifters to find windows to play back. Yeah,
totally agree with you. I had a quick check. Nuke's last Cassio game back in Season Finals 2024. Played it up against G2, went 0-3-0. Does have a 61% win rate on it all time, 18 games played. So it's something like we have seen him bring out in the past. Actually, put it out against JDG all the way back in 2023. But that didn't go too well for him either, unsurprisingly. And you haven't forgotten that JDG lost to BDS in those days. But yeah, we are just investigating exactly what's going on. It actually looks like, ooh, now this is one we don't see too often, Rob. We are going to have a remake happen because a player has picked a banned skin.
Oh.
Accidentally. The client bugged and picked a banned skin for a player. So it wasn't a player mistake, it was just a client thing. Maybe it was a chroma or a specific skin. Yeah. I mean, we could list off all the skins in the game right now. We could do like a little Twitch chat poll. Was it Blitzcrank? Probably not in the game. The Steel Legion Lux, that one's really annoying to play against.
True.
Yeah.
What was the Ash one? Wasn't there an Ash one that are particles?
Project Ash, I think was banned.
It was,
yeah. Yeah, because her Enchanted Crystal Arrow, was it in Project? It may have been Amethyst. The arrow was narrower on the visual than the hitbox. Yeah. So you thought you dodged it, and then you.
And that's the same with Deep Terror Thresh,
backside.
isn't it? That his animation's slightly off on Deep Terror Thresh.
Oh, quite possibly, man. There's tons of things in League, you know. You know how it is.
Yeah, there's only a few interactions you have to keep track of.
Just a couple. Just a couple that you have to be aware of. I spent my morning, as you guys... I'm sorry, we're going to talk about stuff that isn't directly relevant to MKOI versus... I almost called them VDS. Versus Shifters. I spent my morning playing solo queue this morning.
Yeah, you were duo with Crowning, right?
I played 2 games with Crowning, and we did win both of them. I think in the first one, I realized that he's quite an aggressive player in solo queue. And in the second one, I matched that aggression. It was much better. But he was Valkyrieing in on Corki, and I was back like behind him on Braum, and I was like, oh, flashbacks for Crowny. And then we like aligned on how we wanted to play the lane. But yeah, Braum is OP right now. If you guys want to get some freelo, Braum has a 55% win rate D2+ with a 3.8% delta for skilled players. So if you have, I think, more than 10 games on it and you practice on it, you're going to win about 59% of your games. And I, obviously, being the Chad that I am, 100% win rate.
Savant.
Yeah, 13-0 on Braum. Yeah.
What are you building on?
Bandle pipes into situational. So if there's a lot of damage, you go lock it. If you need to get a cleanse off, you can go Mikhail's. Basically, do you want my shortcut to support itemization right now?
Build Bandle pipes.
Are you playing a tank? Yes. Build Kindle Gem, then work out what you want to build. Because by the time you built the 3 Kindle Gem items you care about, you're done. You know, the game's over.
It is kind of hilarious that like it's Bandle pipes, Lockers, and Zeke's. And Zeke's all build out of the exact same build.
Exactly, right? Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, okay, I'll buy a Kindle Gem, a Cloth Armor, and a Negatron Cloak, and we'll see where we go from there. Unfortunately, I haven't been trying out my Passenger Princess build too much. I get ranked anxiety, and I know I'm okay at engage supports, and I don't think I'm very good at enchanter supports. So I'm not going to go Diadem of Songs, Echoes of Helia too often, you know? I
mean, wasn't I playing Zyra with you the other day? My enchanter supports are not so hot.
Yeah, true. No, you had Dracos in your lane, so, you know, can't really be excused.
I think I just need lessons from Laura.
Yes, on Zyra? 100%. Yeah.
The champion just breaks my brain. I don't know what to do with the plants and stuff. There's too many things.
It is a weird one where a truly great Zyra player will just find plants out of nowhere. And they'll aim their Q and it will hit like 4 different plants that you just, geometry-wise, you had no idea it was going to hit. And then bad Zyra players will just not find any plants the entire game.
That's me.
Yeah, understand. But we are in the draft, by the way, guys. We're just getting the lobby remade as quickly as possible. I'm going to have a quick look, actually, over the team schedules for next week. So Shifters next week have Vitality, G2, and Lost Retones. Currently, they are sitting at 1-1. The expectation going into this game, I think, is that they'll be at 1-2. And they don't actually have the easiest of they could be looking at 1-4 after Vitality and G2 next week. It's a difficult place to be in.
I still think, like, as a team, they are showing much more promise, right? So, like, even if it's the difficult schedule to start, I do think that they will still manage to pick up wins, right? I think Trymbi's been a great addition to the team. I think the fact that they're able to find plays now in the mid game, which was the big thing that was lacking last year, and you're able to play through, like, I think Nuke again has shown that he is a very strong mid laner and someone that you can look to play around. Rooster looks way more comfortable on this roster now as well. So to me, it just is like, hey, like, when does this start to click? And unfortunately, they did end up losing that game. That was so close.
They could quite easily be 2-1.
Exactly, right? So I think it'll just be give them time. And when it's 8 teams that are going into playoffs as well, there's a very high chance they still make it.
So here's the thing, and I agree with you, like 8 teams does seem like a lot, but it's 8 of 12 now. And so there's the argument you can say, well, KCB and Lost Returns unlikely to make it through, but they'll surprise. It's the same as when we had 6 teams with 10.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same percentage. So I think Shifters should make it through. They're one of my teams going in, but you never know. If you have a 1-4 start to a split, things can quite quickly begin to collapse a little bit. As we do get into the game, get onto Summoner's Rift, as Shifters and MKOI will march their way out to no level 1 action, guys, because that's what happens. It's Head of Blades on the Varus instead of something like an Arcane Comet for that extra little bit of poke. Instead, wants to try and get the extra auto attacks down. Unsealed Spellbook on the Nautilus is something we still see from time to time. The ability to teleport and have an exhaust, have an ignite when you're running the heal in lane. Just gives you so much more map pressure, map awareness. It's when you're playing when Alvaro is playing the Nautilus, you kind of expect him to be able to influence a lot of the map and not just be this bot lane support.
And I want to see that continue. It's been so successful. Like Elyoya and Alvaro were, obviously we talked about them last year, the engine continued that. But I do think like this split, with the changes to when you can roam and how quick the lanes come in, we've really seen a distinction between the really good supports and how they get chances to roam on the raft and how they can make impact in lane as well.
Hook up to Paduck immediately from Alvaro. We'll get the staggering blows down on both Trymbi and Paduck, and the ricochet damage coming out. Nice early trades for the MKOI bot lane. Neeko going in with the Twin Fangs, trying to force Jojo away, but can't quite do it. Alvaro and Supa will hit level 2 first here. Need a couple more minions for it. Supa popping the barrier, and Paduck was able to put some damage back into him.
I don't mind popping the barrier though for the lane presence, because you have the TP there for Paduck, so unless you kind of hard win these trades now as MKOI, you are just going to end up with Paduck resetting TP and coming back in, so it feels like you need to try and use that preemptively to guarantee yourself presence in the lane.
Also gets you an early push into Home Guard's reset if you want it, right? You can just, we'll just push 3, get the cannon minion in, and then we'll base and get back. Yeah, grab yourself a cult. It can definitely do a lot of work getting those early pushes with the Home Guards updates that happened in season 26, season 16? It's not. Is it
season 26?
I mean, it's 2026. In 2026, yeah. That's what we're going to go with. Trymbi. Get some damage on Supa. It's going to get hooked up there and down to about 120 HP. Does still have the heal, as does Alvaro. Only that barrier being burnt so far. Looks like Trymbi is going to reset. Has his jungler on this side of the map, though, and they know Alvaro and Supa haven't passed into the river to get a ward down, so there's always the possibility of a gank from Boukada. Much less likely now. Jojo with this wave in a really good spot, Rob. Neeko having to back all the way away here.
And this is what I was talking about. Yesterday we got to see it as well, where Jojo has always been a very, very strong laner, but oftentimes that draws attention and ire from any support and anyone else in the map that just wants to make his life a bit of hell. But he's been doing a great job now of being a little bit more isolated and being able to play through his strengths, and something like the Azir that with these best of ones is popping up tremendous amounts, as it looked absolutely fantastic, and it's great to see that he's kind of able to showcase now why he is such a menace in the middle.
Neeko feeling the benefit of Trymbi there, as he opened through mid when he went for his reset and actually held the wave a little bit for Neeko, so he's able to catch most of these minions where the push had already come in from Jojo, who TPs back in. Speaking of Jojo and some of the ire he has felt, unfortunately the only player on MKOI so far to die more than twice is Jojo. You can see his KDA sitting down there at 1.8. As we see the miasma down, Jojo still trading in. Myrwn is yet to die. Twin Fangs, good dodge from Jojo, but yeah, Myrwn yet to die. So actually has an undefined KDA. We just put 10 in because the amount of he has it combined is 10. As the rest of the players have died twice on MKOI. Just a fun little fact. Not saying Jojo's playing poorly or anything. I think we praised him enough so far that people know that. But he has died 9 times, you know? Where's the team? Where's the support? It's also a joke.
I love every caveat we're slapping on this.
Yeah,
not legal advice.
Yes.
Do not
This is a disclaimer. I think Jojo's good, by the way, guys. Oh, Alvaro on the wrong side of trade. The hook. Oh, that's one of those dangerous hooks that sometimes hits the wall. Heal coming out. Trymbi's going to pop a heal of his own as they put the Shape Splitter into the bush to get themselves a little bit of vision. Alvaro, 4 slow, piercing arrow, flash auto! That was beautiful from Paduck. Flashes in, has the piercing arrow immediately, and then gets the auto attack before Alvaro can flash away. Really nice stuff from Shifters bot lane.
Huge win for Shifters, because already we're talking about, Paduck having this TP, the ability to get back and forth in lane super easily, but now picking up the early wins as well, forcing Supa back. That is a massive win for Shifters.
It really is. Paduck will be so happy getting that first kill. Now goes back at full serrated dirt complete to just the cull on Supa. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Rooster on this Aurora. Did play it a couple of times last year. I've been informed he's 6-0 on it in solo queue this year. into Myrwn can just get that pressure. You have the weirding, you've got the twofold hex, you've got a lot of damage you can put into this rumble. And we talked a little bit about the magic damage heavy top side of Shifters. There's not really anyone that wants to build magic resist on the side of MKOI. You can see Swifty boots for the rumble. Ambessa wants to get towards that first completed item, an Eclipse, a Spear of Sojourn, a Sundered Sky, something like that. And Jojo, yeah, he's an Azir. He doesn't really want to get MR. As Jojo slides in for Nuke, the Ghost comes out. Trymbi going forward, the Miasma. Oh, it's beautiful again from Shifters. They find a second of the fight. And now Nuke is just able to walk his way away.
The coordination was great from Shifters. As you said, the miasma goes down and immediately Trymbi is flashing forward. So there's no flash that can come out from Jojo. And the setup is perfect because you also don't burn some of these key abilities on your bottom side. Like Paduck just hit level 6. This can now turn into a setup after Dragon where you try and fish for plays onto Alvaro, who's flashless. Try and fish for plays elsewhere. Shifters starting to look like they can snowball this.
Did have to invest quite a few summoner spells into that fight. Alvaro's going to step forward. Chain of Corruption piercing arrow. Supa has to step away from the chain that was going to catch him. Alvaro dies for the second time this game, doubling the amount of deaths he's had this year.
And that's just what I was talking about, right? Your ability to now still play around bottom side with Paduck just hitting that level 6. So for Shifters, again, more kills going bottom lane. And you're still looking at the level 6 that's just been ticked over for Boukada. So I want to keep my eyes on Shifters jungler and see what he can do with that ultimate now available.
What an early start for Shifters. 1.5k ahead. Alvaro here is going to spot the shape split up, but whoa, that was close. Almost gets both of them. Can't quite do it. No TP for Paduck means this wave will crash, and he's going to lose a couple of these minions at least. At the bottom of the scoreboard, you can see it's a wave of blue for Shifters. Gold leads in every lane, some more substantial than others.
Now it's going to be a case of, right, well, boy groups are up, let's try and put pressure there. You've already got push from Aurora in that position. It looks like MKOI just want to try and give up, essentially, that top half of the map. Elyoya trying to steal away a couple of camps, can look for the red if he wants to, but Boukada is on the way down and should be aware of it. But if they can try and look for plays towards Paduck or Trymbi, who are both still flashless, that's how MKOI can try and answer for the pressure that Shifters have had thus far.
One of the weaknesses for Alvaro when he's roaming around with his jungler like this is he's not getting XP. Still only a level 4, is about to tick over to 5. Trymbi would love to get 6 before Rift Herald, but with it being 10 seconds away, he's going to have to leech a lot of XP. And isn't going to be able to find too much right now. Jojo trying to force him away from this control ward, but that one is dead as a dodo. As Trymbi will use the shape splitter to get himself a little bit more vision. A couple of pings coming out towards the grubs from Shifters. Expect a reset from Boukada.
But I do like the way MKOI played this, right? They look for the invade on the Raptors to force Shifters, then, oh, hang on.
Petrifying Gaze once again. Nuke with the twin fangs across the wall here. Alvaro's on his way, pops the heal, and Nuke wisely backs away. Did have vision on Alvaro coming around that corner.
Yeah, Alvaro in position to just hold on, but that was a close trade in the mid lane. And I was going to say, like, MKOI at least had set up the play so that then they can look for clearing camps on this bottom side into a potential play in the bot lane, but maybe with Jojo a little low, may think twice, but does have the TP to get back to lane. But see here, right? Look at where Elyoya is. He invaded Raptors, forces Boukada to clear 2 camps, and then go topside, and now they want to look for the trade on the crossbar.
Shifters, though, getting the wave pushed in means they can just back away. They have the advantage in this lane anyway. You don't have to force that when your jungler's on the other side of the map. Trymbi's still only level 5. No threat of a minion pop blossom, but for now it looks like Shifters are just going to get their second neutral objective of the game. 3 grubs and a Drake, 9 minutes in, and a 1.5k lead still for the team previously known as BDS.
Nice freeze for MKOI on the bottom side, though. They're just using that unknown pressure where Elyoya is to keep it up, but sorry, I wasn't sure what they were going to go for.
So I think as we see Rooster go across the veil, I think what you do is you shape slither into the bot bush to check the Nautilus is there. You've got a ward in the second bush, so you can just step forward after that point, after Alvaro is backed away. And that's exactly what they've done. They then go in, push out the wave, and Supa can catch it. They're not really going to be able to threaten him because, as you say, they don't have vision on that bot side. They don't know where Elyoya is on this Ambessa. He's currently up top, clearing out his Krugs. And after a pretty explosive first couple of minutes for Shifters, it all slows down a little bit. Nuke here having to step a little bit further back, looking for that Noxious Blast. Can't quite land it as Jojo uses his soldiers to get some extra damage down. Nuke on the chase. Just lands a Twin's Fangs into the back of the bird.
Yeah, Trymbi's still just about to take over to level 6. So I think he just wants to absorb a little bit of experience here, so then he can make his way back down towards that bottom side. But again, you were kind of alluding to it earlier on. Alvaro with all these roams, a little bit behind when it comes to the experience. So there is these windows of opportunities where Shifters can still play off of Boukada's ult and also Trymbi's ult if they want to. And Jojo may be the point of contact.
Yeah, I think one of the big things is you've got 45 seconds on the Drake, Trymbi trying to leech that XP for 6. If Alvaro doesn't get it before the Drake fight, it becomes a lot harder for him to actually body block this Neeko. You can't just depth charge her as she tries to get in. You can't stop the Vi from advancing too easily. You've only got one dredge line, and after that, you do have more CC in your kit, but nothing that can actually stop someone from really chasing onto your backline.
And I think that's why we're seeing Shifters play so heavily around mid lane, because Paduck is already guaranteeing you push on bot side. Do you have that entrance in towards River? So trying to put presence in towards the mid lane to at least let Nuke reset, it seemed, but also try and get that push, I think is going to be pretty important. But actually that ward in the bot lane just expired, so I don't know if they've spotted the Vi. I think she might have been on a ward, she was just clearing there as well. But either way, Shifters, they get that control in River and should be able to move over towards the objective.
Emperor's divide in from Jojopyun as he slides onto Nuke, trying to get him down before the Drake fight starts. The chase continues as Boukada goes in, but doesn't quite land it. Blooming burst out, Jojo flashes, will survive, no poison ticking. Means he gets out with his life, but no ultimate, no TP, and no flash.
I'm surprised Boukada didn't end up actually just pulling the trigger on the ultimate.
Yeah.
You knew Emperor's divide was down, so even if Jojo ended up flashing, you still get the kill and can flash away. Maybe unsure of a public execution follow-up if you end up going that bit too deep. But Shifters, off that play, should guarantee Dragon, but MKOI is still looking.
And going in, Alvaro does have that depth charge now. Nuke trying to get the presence in the mid lane. Jojo still there, very low HP, and Nuke kind of has to do this back and forth of, well, I can't really step down because we don't have vision control. Elyoya could be waiting in the bush, and he was, so smart play from Nuke as the Drake, the second of the game for Shifters, is secured.
So again, Shifters kind of playing nicely around the objectives and some of these cooldowns that they have, but a lot of it has been just kind of the 1v1 versus Nuke and Jojo that is at least defining whether you're able to get some of these objectives in the early stages.
I mean, I'm loving that 1v1
It's
though.
sick,
Jojo
yeah.
going in deliberately, knowing perhaps the trade isn't the best to get Nuke low before the Drake starts, so the MKOI that can then contest. Couldn't quite do it that time, but it's those small things that MKOI are doing really well this year, and I know it sounds a bit odd to talk about how MKOI are playing really well when there were 1,000 gold down and 2 Drakes and 3 Grubs in this game, but in the previous games, they've been finding these windows really well. We have to keep our eyes on whether they can keep doing that, because in this game, Shifters are really putting them through the ringer. About 1,000 gold lead in the early game. Trymbi, Supa doesn't know! He's caught up, Chain of Corruption there for the follow-up, and Supa goes pop as Trymbi and Paduck team up on the bot side.
There wasn't a chance there. There was so much CC that came through. The spell shield was already broken as well by Trymbi. And it's a nice pick. And this is exactly how Shifters want to try and play, just this quick hit and run style. They get to play on bot side. You're now opening up as well if you want to for trying to play around Jojo when he has no flash. They're actually moving Nuke up to that top side, which I'm kind of surprised at. I expected that they'd try and keep that 1v1, but maybe trying to put Jojo into the longer lane is what they're looking for.
So I think it could also be Paduck had TP and had to reset from the bot side. You could see Rooster already running out bot, so you shift your Cassio to top. They're just going to shove a wave in and then maybe switch back around depending on the matchups, but we'll see if they decide to do that. At this point, it felt like the optimal way to make sure you get as many waves as possible. Cease and desist going in as Jojo does have the Emperor's Divide. Rooster trying to chase him down, twofold Hex. Might be enough, needs to hit another, but the weirding dodge. Flash forward from Rooster! The chase in from Boukada as well as Alvaro looks to an engage of his own. Elyoya diving onto the back here. Depth charge down is going to knock up Rooster, but they just don't have the damage. It's a spear of Sojourn Ambessa as Paduck trades with Supa. Supa still has the flash and the barrier, and Boukada's on his way across. Flash in from Supa, takes the blue, but Boukada wants to take his life, and Boukada and Paduck will find it. This is now officially a shellacking 6-0. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Elyoya's looking to see if he can find Rooster, but Rooster goes in vids for a second and just dodges his way away.
They're also investing the TP here from Jojo as well, so it looks like MKOI really want to all out on this bottom side, but Shifters, this is fantastic play. They are working so well around having their support and jungle working together, and Boukada here sets up for Rooster and manages to come back in at the last second as well to help him out with Rooster. A great flash here to avoid Alvaro's hook, sets up for the kill, and then able to reposition in behind Boukada to set up for the play, but on bot side, we're back to the action.
And Jojo needs to be careful because he's going to get chased down the flank. from Trymbi and Boukada. And Jojo doesn't really have anywhere to go. The Emperor locked in the alcove. Sent to alcove prison as Boukada picks up the kill. 7-0 now for Shifters, and what a start this has been. MKOI left rattled and reeling, it seems.
They're trying to go for the Rift Herald, but you can look at where Shifters are on the map. They're trying to very quickly get here. I was going to say, Paduck, I don't think you want to face check the brush, but MKOI, they have to give it up.
Importantly, the Eye of the Rift Herald now no longer reduced in terms of coming back up with how many auto attacks it takes. It's on a set timer, so you can't just put 4 people there, auto it a lot, and then get it off really quickly and take that Rift Herald. Hook from Alvaro just short of connecting onto Paduck. Boukada starts up the Rift Herald. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Rooster is taking a tier 1. Will be the first tower of the game.
Yeah, he still has TP, so they're happy to just leave Rooster there for as long as he needs. That's going to be tower down. Paduck is going to clear out the waves mid. There's no answer for MKOI. Shifters are just outplaying them on the map right now.
It's just really impressive. All round from Shifters. First items complete across the board as well. It's the Rocket Belt for Trymbi. Paduck's got himself a Yumu's. Lethality Varus is the way we're going. Rod of Ages for Nuke stacked up at 1. And then the Sundered Sky Leandries with another Haunting Guise for Rooster. 1.2k leads in both top and that bot lane role. As Paduck maybe overstepping. Public Execution dodged to the side, or did it miss? You can be the judge of that.
Either way, barely able to step away from that one. And Paduck keeps himself alive, because that would have been him just gone. Yeah. The fact that you had then the follow-up with the Nautilus just would have been enough. And with 15 seconds until Dragon, that would have been MKOI at least netting something. But now you're down public execution for this next objective. And the Shifters just get to push in mid and once more look for plays on this objective.
Overall, MKOI just trying to find a way back into the game, really. Rift Herald being put down in the mid lane. There's only 1 plate remaining on this tower, so even with only a minimal amount of pistol line overgrowth, that tower is going to fall. Next Drake has spawned as Shifters start to set up around it. They don't have too much deep vision in the blue side jungle, but they have enough shallow ward placements to just start up this Drake and force MKOI away.
You can see, though, this is the same ward that we had yesterday. It doesn't actually get used, that Myrwn was able to TP in on, and it was what MKOI brought back at a 3rd Dragon as well in their game against KC, but Shifters not giving them that chance, just pushing them away completely, and this just feels like this game is just rattling on, and MKOI haven't really woken up into it.
I mean, we're 18 minutes in, it's 7-0, there's a 4.5k lead, there's 3 Drakes to 0 before the 20-minute mark, and 3 Grubs to 0. This is so one-sided as Alvaro caught out with the cease and desist. Rooster there for the chase. Alvaro doesn't have a summoner to escape his precarious situation. And Shifters claim their 8th.
And they're just going to end up pushing on top side, getting a tower off the back of it. Nuke going to look for a pick himself.
Goes in with a Noxious Blast. Twin Fang dodges away from the rockets coming out of that rumble. Jojo now might just be caught out. Vault Breaker in. Rooster looking for the chase. Jojo flashing under the tower. They might just focus on the tower first. Myrwn's on his way across. Another Vault Breaker coming out. They'll wait for that tower to fall. Between worlds goes Rooster. The tower does go down, but so does Rooster. Boukada still trading here. It's 1-for-1 so far. Trymbi looking for a flank position. Boukada still chasing in. Paduck TP's in. Death charge out. Public execution can't get him away. And knock him on a super as he can't escape the clutches of the Shifters. And it's 11-1 now in favor of Shifters.
They're shifted everywhere on the map, Medic. It feels like everywhere you turn that you cannot find any space away from them. And it's just a great play. Again, Terror goes down. They're finding picks. And Nuke is just getting the free farm. You see it again here. Great patience on the play. Like Boukada ends up going for the trade, they get the flash, they wait for that Q coder to come back up. And unfortunately, Rooster takes a huge amount of damage here, but watch Boukada. He waits for that Emperor's Divide to go down before he ends up launching himself in with the Q. And then Elyoya in tow end up setting up the rest of the play. But he falls. Trymbi with the flash onto his support. Supa sets it perfectly. It's so well executed.
It's the realization of follow-up as well. Like, it's like, okay, we can make this play on Jojo. When they react to this play on Jojo, Trymbi can get behind them and have a positioning for the Pop Blossom. We can TP in Paduck. It's not just the first play, but it's the consequences of the first play that Shifters are playing really well around. And although the first couple of games for them, it seemed like they were in reverse, we're definitely in 6th gear now, maybe 7th, depending on how many gears your car has. I haven't driven a car in a while, so mine had 5.
I've got no comment. I don't know how to do
Oh, true, actually, yeah. Wow. Not many of us actually do drive in the LEC.
Public transport's pretty good over here.
It is really good in Berlin. As MKOI might be taking the train home tonight. I saw Camilo having to run home yesterday.
To be fair, he was good at a decent pace.
It was a decent lick, man.
I was fairly impressed.
That guy's been smooth. He was shifting.
Yeah.
Good one. It would be funny if he was on the team. I like to clarify my jokes with how I could have made them wittier if the world had not conspired against me.
If you didn't need the urge, witty. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so next steps. 2 minutes on the Ocean Soul for Shifters. MKOI trying to turtle up a little bit. 2 items completed, Nash's Tooth and Rylai's and the Essence Reaver and Navori. So we are getting towards some power positions. However, you look at the other side and it's like, well, Neeko almost has his second item and has a fully stacked tier, so that's the Seraph's going to be complete. Paduck is on 3 with the Essence Reaver, the Yumu's, and the Manamune.
You're seeing what the hardest problem is for MKOI. It's just taking back this space, though. You don't really have anyone that's particularly tanky. And the second you do, you've got like long-range engages from Paduck. Trymbi can try and knock you up with the tango bars as well. It's very, very difficult for you to actually buy this space back. And Aurora just continues to push on that side lane, which has also given her windows to start playing around, or with that TP joining play. So for MKOI, they're just being corralled into their own side of the map, and it's really difficult to break.
Rooster looking for the damage here onto Myrwn. Isn't going to follow up too much more. Has Leandri's Bloodletters combination so powerful when you're doing this consistent DPS. Boukada looking for a position of his own. Bolt Breaker over the wall could be enough, but they think Myrwn has backed away a little bit further. Drake up in 40 seconds time. We'll see the resets coming out from Paduck, who does not quite have TP, and from Trymbi, who doesn't quite have any wards. So he wants to get back out here with that Celestial position and litter the map with vision for Shifters.
Yeah, I'm curious if MKOI are going to try and contest for the Ocean Soul, or do you just try and trade it for a Baron position? The Ocean Soul is nice, don't get me wrong, but it's not like you're doing a hell of a lot of poke. It's more of an all-in potential from MKOI. So maybe it is just a case of try and play for Baron and hope that you can take the lesser of the evils and draw Shifters into a better position. But the TP's coming through. We're all in on this fight.
I have this kind of schism amongst the middle of the river. MKOI playing through the bot side, Shifters playing through mid. Rooster TPing down here as Jojo did the same a couple of moments ago. Not really enough vision for Shifters down towards this bottom side. Shape Splitter in, Myrwn in the pit, Boukada going forward as well. Flame Spitter out for Myrwn. Boukada turns onto him. Petrifying Gate's going to land as well, as it's Boukada who secures the Ocean Soul. Dives in with the Season 6, good to Emperor's Divide onto Trymbi, and Neeko knocks them back. Jojo's going to find a shutdown, but now Elyoya's in the back of the pit. Rooster can dive over as Trymbi chases out his enemy support. A 2-level lead for the Neeko, and a very dead Nautilus sent to the depths. Myrwn still on the chase here, doesn't have that equalizer. Trymbi maybe not enough damage. He's still a support at the end of the day. Elyoya will fall though, and will Myrwn an ace for Shifters for only a couple of their teammates, and Baron available. Paduck has TP. He can get a couple of plates here and then teleport across.
That play was so well orchestrated by Shifters. Nuke with the flash ult setup. Trymbi immediately jumping on top of several members. It all came together perfectly for Shifters.
It really did. Well coordinated. You could see MKOI trying to split it up, trying to play it on multiple fronts, but they just couldn't do it. MKOI are respawning, but soon they're going to be met with an enemy team has slain Baron Nashor. And Shifters with their Ocean Soul and with their Baron, 24 minutes in, take an 8K lead.
Yeah, I mean, this was so well played. I think Myrwn going in a little bit early on this bottom side, especially because they're still half health on the Dragon, but Paduck with one lock up, the follow-up then from Nuke,
so
immediately
nice
from Trymbi. And I mean, Supa just doesn't get a chance to play the game. He's already taken out. Jojo's low and isn't really the damage dealer that you need. And just Shifters chasing down anyone that they want to. Supportal combat is a win for Trymbi, but Myrwn kind of delivers a maybe not so nice reward at the end of it.
But then Paduck comes in and has vengeance for his support. Nice. Flash forward into the Rain of Hours, into an auto is enough. And Shifters clean.
Trymbi, we did banana combo on them actually.
Banana combo. I have to have another look at it, because banana combo doesn't tend to be something you want to do. Maybe it was like Pop Loss and Petrifying Gaze went the wrong way or something, but it was still a great fight overall for Shifters. And yep, they're shifting hard. at the moment into 8th gear. Boukada caught out with a dredge line, but no real follow-up from MKOI wisely. Pop Blossom out as well onto Jojo, who tries to flash away, does have the shifting stance, but he can't get away from the gaze of Nuke. That petrifying gaze doing a huge amount of work. Alvaro falling as well. Myrwn TPing in a little bit too late to really assist in anything. Puts the equalizer down to try and clear out the way, but those Baroned up minions are still healthy enough. Inhibitor tower down now for Shifters. 2 members of MKOI down for the next 20 seconds or so. And Shifters might just look for the win here, Rob.
This was not the direction I saw this game going at all, but Shifters showing up. You were concerned about their upcoming schedule. Maybe it's the other teams that need to be.
Apparently so. Supa has to use the spell shield to avoid the flash forward from Rooster, but a piercing arrow almost pierces through him. Paduck gets the Jojopyun going in, but it's only on Boukada. Trymbi tanking the tower. Myrwn trying to get onto the backline, does go into that overheat, but just doesn't have the damage to do more than 1 kill onto Shifters. Jojo is back up, puts the sun disc down, dodges away from the chain of corruption. Elyoya forced back, Supa forced low. Rooster takes the kill. And it's an alarm for MKOI as Rooster begins to crow. Boukada goes further forward onto Alvaro, can't quite take him down. The Embers of Eye just to buy a little bit of space, but Jojo will still fall. Shifters in 26.5 minutes have absolutely routed MKOI. This was a demolition.
The fastest game this place. What a performance from Shifters.